Hey, Ecamm fam, good morning, good evening, good lunchtime, whatever it is, wherever you are. Welcome to sunny Edinburgh, where I've been playing about with profiles for quite a long time now. But the idea is that I'm wanting to create a profile people could go grab off the shelf rather than having to design their own thing from scratch. So this is a bit of a preview because later in the week I'm going to do a longer live on this, and then there's going to be a sort of a series of shows where I'm going into more detail on this stuff. But I just thought I'd let you see the kind of things that I've been up to. So I've created a bunch of scenes, and they're basic scenes for running a live or doing an interview or whatever, and they're dropped into a profile. So they've got simple things in them, like, for instance, building in your agenda. So I can do my agenda and do some reveals, and that's all built in for you. And you can just press a couple of buttons on your Stream Deck or use your hotkeys to run an agenda. And then I've taken that concept and just offered sort of different screen crops, because not everybody runs with the same screen crop. And if you've got a very wide angled lens, it's not necessarily going to work as well on some scenes as on others. So just dependent on what you're using, you might want a different layout. So I've done that. And I've done also a whole bunch of stuff with bringing in guests. So if you can imagine that Sheena there, instead of being just a photograph, is actually one of my guests. And I'm going to repeat Sheena several times here as I bring on my different guests. So this is me bringing in some guests for an interview, and then maybe doing something like having a guest highlighted, and then me to one side and bringing in some comments, or maybe doing like a screen share. But I've basically set up all of those scenes for you. I noticed I'm a little blurry on that one. Let's come and have a look at what I've done to myself there. So just come back up to the top. So the idea with all of these really is that I can have a profile and let people come in and then choose what they want it to look like. So instead of this background, I might want a different background. So I've put into the profile 10 different backgrounds, and you can just flick between them to decide which one you like or do not like, depending on whether you have a sort of a business requirement or whether you've got a particular look and feel for your show that you want. There's a lot of different ones in there, or indeed you could drop in your own background if you wanted to as well. So all sorts of different backgrounds in there, which I've just popped in. But also what I have done is, let's go back up to this one here and choose a very simple looking background. What if I wanted to have a different banner below me there? Well, that's pretty easy because I've sort of configured it so there are a bunch of different banners to choose from. So if you don't want that one and you want something that's a little bit simpler, then you can choose that banner. In fact, the complex one, you can even break the banner down a bit, but I'll not get into that today. Right down to some very simple looking banners. So you can choose your banner and you can choose your background. So if I come back into my animated banner, I can even hide and show different bits of that banner, so I've only got the title in the middle or something like that. But we're not getting into that today. So the next question people always ask is, well, what about colour schemes and things like that? Well, the way I've configured it is that with a couple of clicks you can change your colour schemes. So for instance, let's have a look at that banner down the bottom here. If I want to have a look at that banner and I decide I want a different colour scheme, then perhaps I can choose a different colour scheme here. So I've chosen a different colour scheme for the banner, but what about the main, well, everything else, I suppose? Let's have a look at that and match it up. So one click of the mouse and I can match up my background with my banner. So that's going to ripple through regardless of which background I choose. So if I go down and choose a different background, let's turn that one on, and we'll turn another one on. Let's say that one there. Then the background colors have changed along with the banner as well. So the whole point really is that it's uber flexible from that perspective. So I've done all sorts of different bits and pieces in here, including some of the sort of ones that people tend to want, which is the sort of straightforward square type of look and feel for you and a guest, right through to me going a bit wacky and choosing some more bizarre perhaps look and feels. But I will see what makes the cut and what doesn't make the cut at the end of the day. But it's very, very easy for me to come in and make all the changes and completely change the look and feel. So let's go back up to the top, and I'm going to just for the sake of changing it, I'm just going to change those colors again. So if I come back to my banner, and let's say I want to choose a different color for the banner, choose a different color, and then the background as well. If I want to choose a different blend for the background, then I can do that as well. And I've done that just by placing blend boxes over different areas of the screen. So you can see suddenly I've got a much more subtle greeny look and feel rather than the purple one I started off with. So that of course then will blend through on all the different scenes. So you don't need to go change each individual scene. It's just going to blend through on all of the scenes with those different color changes. So it's really quite, well, it's taken me a while to get to the point of how do I do all of this stuff, but eventually I got there. And I think this technique is what I'm going to stick with, because it's super, super flexible, and you can literally, at a flick of a button, totally change the way that the whole thing looks. And all of your colouring will blend in and match nicely as you go through as well. So that's where I've got to at the moment. By the end of the week, hopefully, I get to finish it. Let me go down here and see what have I got. A guest one there with comments. Yeah, I've got one with comments there. Let's see if that placeholder works. I inevitably found, because I put lots of placeholders in, that when I drop in a comment, it doesn't always work. But I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, it didn't go where I thought it would, and I'm pretty sure that's because I've got so many different options going on within this particular profile. It's one of my working profiles, for want of a better description, where I've got tons and tons of stuff going on. So thank you for joining me, Facebook user, and thank you for enjoying the shares. They're very brief on this evening, but there will be more of this coming later in the week. And as I say, the idea is that there are profiles for interviews, there are profiles for live streaming, there are profiles for presentations as well. So I've been working on loads and loads of different ones and loads of different looks and feels, but really easy to tweak and change to your own designs. So thanks for that, guys, and thank you, Facebook user. I should really bring in a comment and then adjust it accordingly to make it look a lot better. I don't know why has the face disappeared off that. Who knows? For another time. But thank you for joining me, Facebook user. We will continue along these lines later this week, and hopefully I'll be doing quite a lot more, and I'll be doing some how-tos and showing you how I've built this up from scratch and that type of thing, if you really want to build it up from scratch yourself. But the whole idea is that you don't have to. You can just go get a profile and all of the scenes are pre-prepared for you. So that's me from Edinburgh this evening, 18:57 already, so it must be time for me to go reheat my cup of tea in my special Pirate Podcast mug and sort myself some dinner out for this evening. So see you later. Cheerio. Bye from Edinburgh.